Keely Reason here, owner of Love with Adventure, where I blog about the marriage relationship, intimacy, marriage, and how you can go deeper with your spouse. And today I'm answering a question about ball play, how to play with your husband's balls, and what should you do, and tips for that. So, my first tip is to the husband about getting prepared down here because it even if you have washed and everything, this has a lot of odor, a lot of like sweaty odor, things like that. I recommend to everyone to use Lumi. This is a whole body deodorant. This particular Lumi thing, I'll put the link in there. I buy this off of Amazon. It's like a lotion form, but if you will put that not necessarily directly on your balls, but like other places underneath and things like that, it is going to address any bad odors that your wife may experience with her face down there. Okay, so now as far as wives go, what are the tips for you? The first thing I would say is that you have to have open communication with your husband about how hard you can be, sensitivity, things like that. What is surprising to a lot of women is that their husband can take more pressure and have more done for their balls than what we realize. So, wives, we're taught as women not to, kick a guy, not to hit him there, very sensitive, whatever. And so then when you get married and you're trying to be intimate with your husband, and he's like, okay, well, you can do this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, I thought we had to be really, really gentle down here. So I would say that the first thing is speak to your husband. Ask him, okay, is this pressure too hard? Is this too much for you? Tell me if it hurts. Tell me if it's, whatever. There has to be open communication there. Wives are not going to have any idea what it feels like or how hard they can be or how soft they need to be or whatever. Now, as far as like techniques and what you can use your mouth to lick and suck his balls. I'm not saying necessarily pull his, actual ball into your mouth. You can actually just play with the skin on his balls. Instead of like, it depends on your texture situation. You might not be able to take it all as far as that goes. And he might not even love that. So think of it more along the lines of pulling that skin around the balls. I don't know, if your husband ever sort of, rubs that part of his balls between his fingers or something. It's kind of that same idea. So you can, spend time licking and sucking and kissing that area. It's not just on the balls themselves. There is underneath of that, there is part of the penis is under there. And so rubbing that area under the balls is actually part of his penis. It can feel great, pushing pressure on that, putting pressure on his balls. You'll have to definitely talk with him about that, like what feels good to you. But I mentioned that space under the balls because you can massage that. If you were to feel, I think it's called the perineum, if you were to feel under there, it would just feel like a penis base just underneath the skin. So while you are licking and sucking his balls or his penis, you can massage that area. And that is going to put pressure there or feel good there. One of my blogger friends said you can, possibly put your knee against that area if you were trying to give oral sex, like putting pressure down there can feel good too. So the other things you can do is use a vibrator in that area, put a lot of lube on it, and just hold the vibrator against his balls, rubbing back and forth. You can go up and down his penis too. You don't have to just do things on his balls alone. You can actually put the vibrator underneath and, put pressure on the perineum area where his penis is below that. So everybody in the comments who knows more about this than I am, feel free to chime in. If you know the technical terms and everything, that would be great. I'm just trying to describe as best as I can for a wife who doesn't really know the full anatomy. So those are some ways that you can play with your husband's balls while you're either giving him oral or just as a way of, you know, foreplay. So, if you want to enhance that, you can play with his balls while doing something else. While you're kissing him, you can cup his balls if you can reach. While you're kissing other parts of his body, whatever it is that you're doing, just hold his balls, push against them, and then ultimately ask him what feels good, because he can probably tell you, try this or do that, and that will definitely guide you along. I hope this helps you today. If you have any questions, always feel free to fill out my anonymous questions form on the blog. I will leave a link to the anonymous questions form in the link here. And I always answer these in my newsletter every week, so make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. I'll leave that link as well. Occasionally, I come on video and I answer the questions. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to talking with you guys later.